Hello, everybody. Hope all is well with you. I'm Demetra K. Hope you're having a great day. I don't know what happened with Donovan. He was literally just on here. Somehow he got clicked off, so he'll come back, I'm quite sure. But anyway, as soon as he comes back, thank you for joining myself and Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, for another edition of the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always try to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, to my wonderful moderators, thank you for all you doing holding down the comment section, for you are dearly appreciated and much loved. Today, we're going to be talking about Kamelo Anthony's retrial bid being denied. And I want to follow that up with, are Black folks in America tired yet? That is a loaded question. So we'll give Donovan just another second or two to come back on. I really do not know what happened to him. It was just so weird. Leather and luxury cars, how you doing? He says he was tired 10 years ago. How about longer than that? Brother Dom, my triple OG moderator, hope you're doing well. Mike Nice, what's going on with you? Gloria, how you doing? Oh, you said these heathens want to get FBAs to get in the streets and protest. Oh, no, we're not going to do that, okay? As I said, I'm not in the feet in the street type of girl. Not at all. King Noble, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'll be chilling the building. Are you getting any sleep? I know that your new baby is here. You probably ain't getting no sleep. Clifford, how you doing? JJ, what is going on with you? Who else do we have here? Courtney, how you doing? And Pop, you made it early. Fair use, what's going on? Talia, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. Every little bit helps. Thank you. Thank you. Here he comes. All right. I don't know what happened to you. You were just gone. Okay. So hopefully he stays. Miss Tay, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Renz, what's going on? Mr. Ernest, Brother Samuel, I got to call you back. He called me super early. Was it yesterday? I'm gonna call you back. I swear I'm gonna call you back. Midwest, what's going on? And yeah, I hope you're doing well. I'm talking so fast. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm about to start sweating for the sake of time. So anyway, as you guys may or may not know, Kamelo Anthony, he was trying to get a new trial. Now I'm going to read to you all just a brief as to all that happened within the last couple of days, and even, take it back to 2000, I think it was 25, when it originally happened. There is Kamelo Anthony. That's the picture that I like. All the other pictures people are circulating around, I don't too much like those. So that's why I'm going to put this one up here. But basically, Kamelo Anthony was convicted of murder in June 2026 for fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas. In April of 2025, he was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Anthony maintained that he acted in self-defense. His new defense team subsequently asked for a new trial, arguing that the original proceedings were fundamentally unfair. The request was heard over 2 days this week by retired Judge Michael Chitty, who had taken over after the original trial of Judge John Roach, and heavy on the Roach, was removed from handling the post-conviction proceedings because of concerns about his impartiality after comments he made about the verdict. So basically, he did a news segment, an interview where he basically said, whatever they said, they got it right? So that he was saying that, I guess, about the jury or whatever. So that didn't really seem too impartial. Okay. Now, on August 22nd, Judge Chitty, I need to say Chitty, okay, denied the motion for a new trial. His written order was brief, saying that after reviewing the motion, record evidence, and arguments, briefs, and applicable law, he found the motion should be denied. Anthony's attorneys say they intend to continue pursuing an appeal. So I think most people kind of already knew that, there was a high probability that that judge wouldn't give a new trial. So his team is pursuing an appeal. Okay, that is his constitutional right. Anyway, so I want to get into some of the stuff that was discovered during the trial. Bear with me here. Now, the disturbing phone evidence, one of the biggest developments during the retrial hearing was the disclosure of evidence that the original jury never saw. Prosecutors presented messages and other materials recovered from Anthony's phone, including messages in which Anthony allegedly told an ex-girlfriend that he fantasized about shanking someone and licking the blood from the blade, messages in which he allegedly threatened his girlfriend, which she also was at the bid for the retrial, right? So there's a lot of questions about that. And she still is in touch with him and things like that. Okay, now it says messages concerning violence, drugs, and robbing people. Now, a 2024 photograph selfie of Anthony shirtless and holding a gun, a video of which he reportedly pointed a gun toward a house. Other messages that prosecutors characterize as evidence of a pattern of violent or threatening behaviors. Okay, there was also reportedly a message sent around 1 a.m. on the day of the in which Anthony said he was low key on the verge, according to evidence discussed during the hearing. Now it says, importantly, these revelations do not mean the texts prove that Anthony planned to unalive Metcalf, right? This is an argument that the prosecution could make from the evidence, but the legal significance of the messages was one of the issues brought forth over the retrial proceedings. Now, this is where the retrial gets complicated. Before the original trial, prosecutors and defense attorneys had an informal off-the-record agreement to keep potentially explosive character evidence about both teenagers out of the trial. That included information about Anthony's alleged violent and behavior and information about Metcalf's alleged history of racist behavior, including racist and anti-Semitic graffiti and other incidents. The attorneys were concerned about inflaming racial tensions too late, right? Because them folks, when they first heard of this trial, boy, y'all know who I'm talking about, right? They went haywire, okay? Because, you know, they always trying to find a reason to just really get out there and just be themselves, okay? And that's not always good. Anyway, so it says surrounding a case involving a black defendant and a white victim that had already attracted numerous national attention. Them people, okay? Now, Anthony's defense argued that the agreement subsequently broke down and that the uncertainty over what prosecutors might introduce caused Anthony to change his decision about testifying. He had initially intended to testify, but ultimately did not take the stand. His lawyers argued that this inferred with his ability to present his defense and amounted to a violation of his right to a fair trial. Now, a retrial would not ordinarily happen simply because a new or embarrassing evidence was discovered or after conviction. The defense had to argue that something happened in the first trial that was seriously enough to make the conviction legally unreliable. For example, a constitutional or due process violation, improper handling of evidence, or the defense ability to present its case. Problems surrounding the agreement to exclude character evidence, which that kind of seems like that was the point of contention, right? The circumstances surrounding Anthony's decision not to testify, also a point of contention. Alleged problems with courtroom procedures and restrictions imposed by the original judge, which just seemed like that was an issue as well, because the judge said that he did not want to use the overflow room because he didn't want influencers and different people to kind of, you know, run away with the trial and stuff. But that is unconstitutional from what it sounded like. But Judge Chitty decided that there was no problems there, okay? Issues concerning a jury instructions or other legal errors, concerns about the original judge's conduct or impartiality. And I think that kind of came after the trial when he did the interview, when he was like, oh, well, right, in a sense, okay? That's just kind of what I took from it. Now, the defense's theory was initially if Anthony's decision not to testify was affected by the prosecution's potential use of evidence that the lawyers had agreed would be excluded, then the jury might not have heard the case under the conditions Anthony was constitutionally entitled to receive. The prosecution's response was initially that the original trial was fair, the evidence supported the murder conviction, and there was no legal basis for throwing out the verdict, okay? So I just kind of want to give y'all a recap of everything that had happened up until yesterday, right? So Judge Chitty, he made that ruling over the weekend, basically saying that he didn't see a problem. He wasn't going to overturn it. Now, remember, the first judge got removed. He did not want to remove himself at all, but they had a hearing and it was like, okay, yeah, you got to get up. Now, my thing is this, before I go on to this other stuff, okay, I'm not going to just tell y'all about Kamelo stuff. I'm going to show y'all about Austin stuff in just a second. But Dominique Alexander, who is kind of like a spokesperson for Kamelo's family, received this from Austin's daddy, Jeff, and he's a real piece of work, right? Now, before I get into that, after the trial, he called Kamelo a watermelon felon. He called Kamelo's mama everything but a child of God, 5011 B words, said a whole bunch of stuff about his daddy. He's a nasty individual, okay? I just want to really paint that picture for y'all. But this is what he sent to Dominique Alexander, the person that's, you know, being a spokesperson for the Anthonys. Now, he says, say it to my face, you're a coward. called you out and you still slither away. When the denied ruling is issued, you're going to have another press conference. I promise to attend. See you around. Now, this was sent to him. So Friday night, okay, this message was sent to Dominique on Friday night. The ruling didn't come out until yesterday afternoon. So Jeff, do you know something that we don't know? How do you know, or how did you know that in advance that this would be denied? Okay, so there's some speculation. I'm gonna say allegedly, all these speculations is going on. It's like, sir, what did you know and how did you know before the actual ruling came out? Right? Is this the good old boyish thing going on now? I've told y'all all about Kamelo in all fairness, right? The things that they found. I'm gonna let this reporter from CBS tell you the things that not that they found from Austin, but the things that he and his brother had done. Okay, so here we go.
This is going first, releasing 20 pages now of Austin Metcalf's behavioral history. Carmelo Anthony was dressed in a suit and tie for this morning's hearing, which began with the defense arguing that efforts by the trial judge and prosecutors to combat threats and deal with disruptions actually prevented Anthony from getting an open and fair trial. But bombshell testimony came this afternoon from Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howard, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. CBS News Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK All Blacks and Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school, and in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game and texted someone later, "I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids." At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, "behind our bench was talking wild," Austin reportedly replied that MF. During the 2023-2024 school year, he received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 reveal that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day.
I'm sorry. Because, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this right now, I do not believe that anybody's life should have been taken, okay? I don't think anybody should be 6 feet deep. I'm going to say that right now, okay? However, before all of this came out, okay, these people who started all this foolishness on the internet, this, race, whatever it is, they were going on and on and on, including Austin's daddy, about how angelic he was. And oh gosh, he wouldn't hurt a fly. He was so innocent. And oh, he didn't deserve it. My boy was just there. And as we can see, there's some bull caca, okay? His boy was not just there. His boy had a history of violence, a history of bullying, a history of anti-blackness. And they also said a history of anti-Semitism, right? He just wasn't a good dude, okay? Now, when you see his daddy, going on and on, calling people names and all this other stuff, he even showed up when it first happened to the courthouse like he's some bully or whatever. Now you see, where he got it from. And when he was talking about the watermelon felon and stuff, I said, yeah, now we see the apple don't fall too far from the tree. That is learned behavior. But come on, let's keep it a buck. Most of us already knew without even hearing that stuff about Austin. That's probably how they behave. And let's keep it a buck too. We are in the good old state of Texas, okay? That's where that happened. Frisco, Texas, to be exact. Now it sounds like there in Collin County, there's not a lot of black folks there, which is why I don't know why y'all want to be there. I really just be confused sometimes as to why black folks want to be around a bunch of people that do not look like you, especially when you hear that there's a history of them people not wanting you there, okay? And in the system and all these other things. But nevertheless, so it makes sense. It's almost like the see, I knew it type of thing. But nevertheless, the retrial bid was, well, we're not gonna, we don't see the problem, but that's okay. There's appeals process or whatever. But as I said too, God is not asleep. Now, I made this post yesterday, and them same old people showed up. Okay, they showed up. They didn't like what I said, but guess what? I don't give a damn. Okay, so I basically said we've hoped, we wish, we prayed, we voted, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, at what point do we decide that we want to do something differently? And I said America will start listening when black folks stop spending. Okay, now we know that all the things that we have done, I'm not saying they're not effective to some degree, but damn, we could go back into history, right? Let's go back to the Montgomery bus boycott. Now, I know that was detrimental to our people as well, because as Dr. Claude Anderson told it, we had a bus company as well that eventually went belly up when black folks were able to ride wherever they wanted to ride on the bus. But even with that particular boycott, they boycotted the white bus system that had them sit in the back of the bus and or get up when a white person came, and there was no seats. They were able to make that, the white folks, okay, we'll say that, bend the knee, bow down, right? They bowed down because they took their money out of the transportation economy for over a year, okay? It worked then. Now, as I said, when black folks stop spending, normally we get the attention of everybody else. Now, do we give a damn if America listens to us? No, we don't care, because they never have listened and they never will listen. It's just not something they're going to do. But I want to just walk y'all down memory lane really fast. Now, we've been having this conversation. Listen, we could go back to the gap, but this is, some recent things that have happened with black folks here in America. You got Latasha Harlins, who had her life taken by Suda Ju, a Korean there in LA, South Central, 1991. You got Cyrus Carmack Belton, which is why we said that we were abstaining from shopping with the Asian community, right? You have Brother Keith Porter, whose life was taken by an ICE agent off duty. This is a black man, black American, was minding his business on his porch New Year's Eve. Nobody said nothing about that. His family is still fighting for anybody to, pay attention to what happened to him. But yet illegal immigrants, or white folks that are unalived by ICE agents, they are all the rage, but black folks, no. Then, of course, you have Nolan Wells, who his family is still waiting for answers as to what happened to their child. There has been 2 medical exams that went out, one by the state of Mississippi, and they're sitting on that. I guess they're going to send it to a grand jury and let the grand jury decide. But Colin Kaepernick paid for the second one, which they said is undetermined, because they being the state of Mississippi, sent his body back without his throat and his lungs. Okay, what's going on there, right? Then we have George Floyd, which, if I don't know if y'all been following the news, and apparently some of these people that look like the palm of my hand, they're not aware that Elon Musk is actively petitioning to get Derek Chauvin free. Now, he may get free on the federal level, but Tim Walz, who was the mayor of Minnesota, is like, yeah, he ain't getting out of here no time soon. He's doing a 22-year consecutive bid. So he's probably going to be a very old man or close to it when he leaves out of there, okay? But you know what happened with George Floyd. We saw a black man have his very life taken from him in the middle of the street in broad daylight by a white man who had both of his knees on his neck for almost 10 minutes with his hands in his pocket, as George Floyd cried out for his mother repeatedly as his hands was behind his back, took that man's life. Now, from that point, yeah, black folks was like, okay, we gonna get it, crunk or whatever. But we allowed these do-nothing Democrats to, steal our thunder when they said, we gonna go back and get a George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. That never happened. Okay, and then, of course, we got Tamir Rice, who justice was never found for him. He was shot within 3 seconds of the police seeing him with a toy gun in Ohio. They thought that he had a real gun, but in Ohio, you can open carry, right? But he was 12. Then, of course, you have Rodney King. That really kind of jumped it off in South Central in 92 after what they did to Latasha Harlins, but the LAPD did that to Rodney King. so on and so forth. And I do not want to leave our baby Cohen Wiley, which is why I said I am not going back to Walmart. This baby had his life taken from him from a police officer, which they still have not really done anything about. As he was in the car with his mother and her friend, the police saw that he was in that car, and he still decided to fire his weapon into the car after his mother was falsely accused of stealing diapers out of there. But even if she stole some diapers, do you fire into a car? No. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to Walmart. Can't tell y'all what to do. Now, why am I telling y'all about this? This is getting to the part where are we tired? Are we tired? How many things do we have to see as Black folks here in America go on with our people? And that's just a drop in the bucket, okay? A big drop in the bucket. But how many things do we have to see as Black folks here in America before we decide that we're not putting feet in the street? Because as you guys may or may not know, Al Sharpton is planning a march for August 28th. He's going to march on Washington once again. It's like, for what, man? What are you marching for? He want everybody to know how horrible Trump is. Okay, Trump is horrible. Now, how does that benefit Black folks? So at what point do we decide that we're not marching? I want to just be clear. We don't give a damn about what white folks think about us. We don't give a damn about what they say. Okay, y'all go to my comment section. Y'all back that up anyway. But at what point do we say, okay, we shut it down economically? Because they've always been afraid that Black folks will shut it down economically, not just shut it down, but pour that money, right? This is where the wealth transfer comes in. Pour that money back into our own community and build our own stuff, right? Dr. Claude Anderson talks about the 5-story building, right? The economics, the education, the media, the justice, and the other one will come to me. But basically, we pour into that. Then we ain't got to worry about America listening to us or not. We got our own things firing on all cylinders. So I want to ask y'all, at what point do we say enough? White supremacy has gotten enough of our money, because the system that sent Kamelo to prison for 35 years, that's a system of white supremacy, and it protects itself. You guys know that it was a white judge, a white jury, white defense, white every damn thing, all up and through the trial. And I'm going to say, in my opinion, allegedly, the fix was in before he even went to trial, which was 3 days, mind you, okay? The fix was already in, because as we already know, white folks can do stuff to you as a Black person here in America all day long, and they will justify it. Even a man having somebody's knees on his neck for 10 minutes. But if you do something to them, whether it's justified or not, they always want to make sure that you pay for it. See, there's a lot of people who don't have a problem that Austin Metcalf was doing all of those things. They explain that away, right? Some people say, well, I mean, eventually that was probably going to happen to you. But here we are. So anyway, I don't know what happened to Donovan. I'm going to jump into the comment section. Here he is. Donovan?
Yeah, that was great. Sorry about the in and out. StreamYard is trying to sell me ads and stuff. That's what's kicking me out as a guest. So it's a program problem there. Anyway, yes, you have said a lot of stuff that I agree with. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to say this, and I've been reading the comments, following the comments in the section, and people have a lot of great things to say. When do we get the hint? When do we go back and say enough is enough? We have to rely on ourselves. The Indian nations, they're allowed to have their own police departments, and their own sovereignty and all that other great stuff. They petitioned the United States government with their lawyers and their talented 10s and 9s, whatever you call these people, to petition the government to honor the treaties that they have. But we are constantly, and it doesn't make sense to me, Demetria, we are constantly going to the system that is oppressing us to find justice. And that just doesn't make sense to me. If the system's rigged against us, why are you asking for justice in a system that screws you over? It's almost like, and we all have seen this millions of times, when the police department says we're going to investigate ourselves, what's usually the outcome of that investigation? No problem found. No crime, done. We are really, in today's modern time, in my opinion, if you guys agree with me or if you guys don't, that's okay. with the delineation that is going on, with the wealth transfer that is going on. We can't just pick and choose certain things that make us feel happy to separate. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, and a lot of leaders have said, separate yourselves from these devils and you wouldn't have as many problems as we're having. So either we're going to do it wholeheartedly or we're going to continue to have these problems. As long as we are reliant on other groups to feed us, other groups to clothe us, other groups to educate us, what the hell do you think is the outcome of all of that? Right now, and I'm make a long story short, I just started political season in my city. Political season in my city. Candidates are running. We have black candidates that are running. Do you know the ignorance of the black candidates in my city that are running? They think this is high school, and they don't realize you're dealing with big money, big issues, big problems. Good example, the mayor up in Seattle. This woman was a so-called activist, 40-something years old, still living at home, and she is a mayor that is polling, depending on what poll you look at 62%. She's only been in office for 9 months, and this isn't just from one party, it's across party lines. She does not know what she's doing because she's never ran anything. But what do you expect when you're in a system that is advantageous to you as a person? And it was just amazing to me. I'm talking to some of these black candidates. They had no clue how government really works. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. The one question you ask, well, how are you going to do it? They had no plan. They had no plan. Where are you going to get the money? Like right now, how many of you guys are homeowners like me and your property tax is going up because that is the only way the city makes up the shortfall for housing and feeding all these damn illegal immigrants? Look at Chicago. Look at the blueprint that is happening out there. We're the people, the homeowners, when it comes down to it, are the last bastion of a city's salvation when it comes to their budget. And once your property tax goes up, as we know, it never goes down. But see, people who have never owned a house, that have been living in the hood and upright in the hood and all that other great, and that's great. That you're proud of living in a S-hole community. If that's what you want to do, and be proud of that. But they don't understand how government works. Socialists do not understand there's no such thing as free. It has to be paid for somewhere. So when you're a citizen and you wonder why the pool has been closed for the summer and you're dealing with 115-degree heat, and why the school supplies have been cut and the lunches have been cut and the senior center has been closed and the youth center has been closed, that is because you have other people here that they are prioritizing over you. When are we going to prioritize ourselves? Malcolm X said this. When you vote Democrat, you put them first. As black people, we always put them first, but what do they do to us? They put us last. So either we're going to delineate and separate whole and in its entirety, or we're going to continue to deal with all this foolishness.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We are who we're waiting on. And, I know we got some visitors in the comment section, and that's fine. Y'all know how we get down over here. But yeah, they're not going to change. Okay. They're not going to change. We're expecting them to change. And I'm like a lot of y'all, didn't really think that he would get a retrial because it's the system. Okay. It's the same system that this one in Mississippi, Alabama, California, all over the United States. Is the same system. If you guys know anything about the system, it was never designed to help or protect black folks. In fact, it was designed against black folks, and it was designed to protect the people who wrote it, right? At the founding fathers, when we say the founding fathers, not the triple OGs, not the descendants of Columbus, right? But the ones who stole the country and came over here and did, the Constitution and all these other things, they didn't write that with you in mind. In fact, they said that the Constitution that pertains to black folks is the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, okay? And not much. So when we know that, then we have to move accordingly. As Donovan said, we have been told to separate for a very long time. We allowed, and I say we, I mean our ancestors, right? My mama's generation, my daddy's generation, even though y'all know my daddy and my mama was about that life, not that life though. We allowed them to tell us that integration is what we needed, but we know that the white folks wanted our money. That's all it was. They were not trying to be equal to us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you know, if the master makes the slave equal, then who's the slave and who's the master, right? Also that, we were fighting for civil rights when we didn't have human rights. Them same people that we begging to live next door to, and as Donovan says, eat they seasonless soup. Them same people, right? They didn't think of you as a human. They never did from the plantation when they had us out there as, cattle and all kind of stuff. That their sentiment about us didn't change, but we fell in love with, as my good friend, Brother Jonell said, the illusion of inclusion. Oh, you mean I could move next door to them? I could go and sit at the cafe and eat the soup and, and all this other stuff. And they're like, yeah, we'll tolerate you Negroes, okay? We'll tolerate y'all, but we want the money. Y'all got a lot of money, okay? We got a lot of money now. But since the civil rights movement came in, we have been giving, to this day, 97% of nearly $2 trillion spending power away to everybody else outside of ourselves. Because, and listen, that's why I like this picture of Madam C.J. Walker, because I know them people and some sleepy black people like to tell us, oh, well, we didn't have, now that's some bull cocker. We had 1,200 black towns, a whole host of businesses, hospitals, schools, all of that before them people. Every black town we had that has been destroyed and dilapidated, those people came in, could not mind their business, even though, and in the case in point, even 2026, anytime you put up something, especially me for some reason, whether it has something to do with blackness, here come a bunch of white people trying to remind black folks that they think we're not this, or they think that they have the right to subjugate us. So don't y'all ever believe the hype that black folks wasn't nothing in this country. We was always something. Like I said, they didn't go kidnap the weakest people. They didn't go kidnap the weakest people. They went and kidnapped the strongest people. Still to this day on this earth, can't nobody do it like black folks, right? So don't you believe the hype. But what I'm saying now is we got to get back to that. Move away from them people, because they do not want to be next to you. And come on, let's keep it a buck. Do you really want to be next to them? I do not. Okay, I don't go and seek out places where a whole bunch of them are. I try to seek out a matter of fact, my daughter sent me a video of a restaurant that was pretty cool. And she started laughing because she saw my face as I was watching it. I said, oh, I don't see none of my people up in there. I said, I will not be going there. Right. So, yeah, I just want y'all to know that we are who we waiting on. We ain't waiting on them people to do nothing for us. You only a fool will wait for the person that has harmed their people to do something for them. They stop waiting on them. Anyway, in the comment section, let's see, going all the way down. Talia, what's going on? Did I say hi to you? Not hello. He says, yes, Ms. Demetra. They will start listening when blacks pull their money. Yeah, and put it back into our own communities. Everybody else got enough of our money, right? Kimberly, how you doing? Says, so you talking to somebody, they acting crazy. Okay, I ain't gonna respond to that. Let's see who else is on here. Marilyn, how you doing? Says, no, but we're exhausted. Yeah, it's past time. Boy, I tell you what, Demetri don't never want to be around none of them. Never. Okay. I wasn't brought up like that. I never. They'll tell you I'm not one of them type of black people that just feel like they need to validate me. I ain't say the word. Okay. I almost said the word. I don't need them to validate me. Okay. I don't need to be up and around them. I want to know why some of y'all need to be up and around them. Why? They don't want you. And the history will show you. Okay. They find a lot of our people in them trees. Why? Why are people suddenly all up in these trees in Mississippi? Okay. Why is Nolan Wells, who was from this Mississippi, why did he not come back alive? Why did Tamla Horsford, she's at the sleepover with a bunch of women that didn't look like her, and the next day they found her at the bottom of a balcony talking about, oh, she fell over because she had so much to drink, but they found tampering, or one of them ladies was married to a police officer and he tampering all up and through the files, right? So I'm just wanting to know why y'all want to be around them so much. I'm just asking. Bernard, what's going on? Says, D, keep your foot on their neck, period. Midterms coming. You know I will. You know I will. Who else is in here? Let me go down. Scoop in the building. How you doing? Buckhorse, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. African Native, how are you? I hope all is well. Yes, that's right, Pop. That part, okay? And they not the founding fathers, they the thieving fathers, okay? Because ain't nothing original to them but Europe, okay? That's the only thing that's original to them, and even that's not original to them. Anyway, let's see. Slim Rod, how you doing? Says all those pictured blacks probably cater to whites. Rodney King was soft, and so was your mama. Anyway, going down. Global logistics, what's going on? Which how you doing? Well, Dion, what's going on? Says nobody should be defending Austin Metcalf or Kamelo Anthony. Well, I think what people have to understand, and I read Carmelo's what they alleged that they found, and I showed you what Austin did, because even though Kamelo has texted those things, there was nothing to say that's why he did what he did to Austin, because they didn't know each other. They've never met before, right? So I think if you have half of a brain, not saying you, I'm just saying anybody, you have half of a brain, you would say, oh, okay, well, one day Austin was probably going to meet that end because he messed with everybody. And somebody said, oh, he was bullying the whole damn town, because that's what they do, right? They raise their children to think that they could subjugate everybody else. Everybody is beneath you. It's okay, but see, boy, I tell you what, I'm gonna be quiet because I'm about to get in trouble. But yeah, they tell their children that. See, this is the other thing too, why y'all gotta really stop letting people tell y'all that Black history don't matter, because they tell their children about Black history. What do you think they tell their children about you as Black folks? Yeah, we used to own them, and Black people ain't this, Black people ain't that. And you could, and that's why when you see them getting their clock cleaned out in the public square, they be like, "Oh, Daddy, I thought you said Black people." Yeah, Black people in 2026 do not play that. Okay.
Yeah, I always say this: why are these white children so rabidly racist? How did they get that vernacular? Because we all know if you put kids of a different race in a sandbox and there's no outside influence by adults or anybody like that, those kids, the only difference they will see is maybe the melanin in the skin or whatever, but they see each other as a bunch of human beings and kids. The minute the adults get involved, that's when the racial structures start happening. Why is it that these kids are so rabid? And until it, like I said, for all this kumbaya that especially sisters, I gotta say this, because and it's just your nature. Women are nurturers, and in our community, even all the way back to Jim Crow, which we're still in, we're just undercover Jim Crow. My mom told me this a couple weeks ago. We were talking, and she said white parents tell their children that if they're ever in trouble, to seek out a Black woman, because usually the Black woman was the nanny, right? And doing all that. So that's a factual thing, right? So my point is this: we have all this stuff going on, and we just, it just doesn't make sense how we just continually ask the system that oppresses us for justice. It just doesn't make sense to me, Dimitri. It just doesn't.
Well, you know why? It's because that's what they teach them, but we're not teaching our children about our history or their history. The stuff that happened to us on the plantation, that's not Black history, that's American history. That's why they're going through all this trouble in the school, trying to, oh, we don't want to talk about that. Oh, we don't want everybody to think that America, they already know, boo-boo. Everybody know that America was built on the blood, it's spillage and the tyranny of other people. That's what America is. Racism is as American as apple pie. So they teach their children their history, okay? But we don't, because we believe,
kumbaya.
Yeah.
A world that doesn't exist yet. No.
Yeah, well, it's not that racist anymore, and we got to get along. We're the only group of people that tell our children, oh, I don't teach my child to see color. Well, they teach their children to see color when they see you. So why you don't teach your kids to see color? I told y'all all the time. My daddy, may Allah be pleased with him, he said his mama told him and his brothers, you bring a white girl to my house, I'll break your goddamn neck, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's what they tell their children about you.
Yeah, and even today in our generation, Demetria,
I can go to Baskin Lather. It's Baskin Lather. Hey, Miss Tiffany.
Okay, even today, I can go to some of my friends' homes and meet their parents, because their parents are from that generation of segregation and stuff. They still have those feelings, because when you go to the house, if you're lucky to go to the house and you meet their parents, they're still, you guys ever go someplace and the people are kind of standoffish at you? They might say a few words or whatever, but you know that they really don't, because they're of that ilk. So think about this. You've got grandparents and great-grandparents that spend time with these children. What do you think they're teaching those kids or telling those kids about the good old days? Hey, those blacks, you better be careful. When I was coming up, you just they can't be trusted. They're all thieves. They're all this. They're all that. Until these people die out, the world that we would like to live in, it doesn't exist, and it won't exist in our lifetime. You guys have got to accept that. That is why it is paramount that the message of separation be complete. We have been told this over and over and over again. And I'm not a Garveyite. Even a Jamaican, Marcus Garvey, was saying separate. When are we going to start heeding that? And notice that we're talking delineation and separating. Look at how these groups are upset that we're talking delineation. But in this country, show me where Blackville is. Show me where Negroville is. Negro Town. There is none, but they delineate, but we don't. That's why you've got little Haiti. You've got little Dominica. You got little Saigon. You got this or that. But the minute that we talk separating, they're saying that we're divisive. They're saying that we're racist. They're saying that we're this. You know what? I don't give a damn what they say. We need to separate to save us.
Yeah, brother Jonell, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope that is all is well. And Donovan's channel is in the description box. His channel is always in the description box, so you guys can follow him on his channel. Yes, please and thank you. Yes, so Black Americans, we have to take care of ourselves, but ideally, Black folks all over the world should be united. There should be a Black and brown. I'm heavy emphasis on should. There should be this. Okay, we all have the same oppressor, and the same oppressor has played a trick on all of us to brainwash us into believing that that person that looks like you is your enemy, or that person, you're bad, and Latinos, you better than Black folks, right? Because they got to keep that division. They was doing that back in slavery, right? When the Indians, they thought that Black folks, the slaves and the Indians, would get together. So they told the Indians, hey, we'll do A, B, C, and D. You join with us, because they knew eventually the darker people would get together. And so they've been doing that ever since. So I'm just not one of those people that get too far into that. Do we need to delineate? Yes, delineation is not new, okay? I'm delineating out of love. I'm not delineating out of hate. I just want to make that clear, because I know a lot of times when I see the delineation conversation, it goes to a direction that I'm not going to get involved. Like I said, if anything I'm going to delineate it's going to be from hate. From ignorance. I'm delineating from ignorance. I'm going to put that on the t-shirt. Anyway, who else is here? Let's see. Brother Damon says, I'm only voting the propositions after national election. Yeah, let the people who benefit from it, right? Even Roland Martin said the couch is an option. The couch is a choice, right? And we also know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that nobody in the White House is going to do anything for Black folks, which is why we got to do for self, okay? Let everybody else that benefit from it. And then when we start doing for self, those politicians say, hey, those Black Americans, yeah, we got to go out there and knock on their door, because they moving as one unit like we used to do, okay? Let's not, again, I want to be clear. Let's not talk about Black folks like we never, okay? When they were reluctantly free from those plantations, our people left with just the clothes on their backs, barely, no food in their stomach, and they made a go out of it. And them same people, right, couldn't do the work. So they came up with the Black codes and the convict leasings and all these other things to find a way to get Black people back on the plantations by mass incarceration, okay? So don't you ever believe that we was never nothing. We something now, and they know that, which is why they do such a job to keep us ununified, arguing about everything that don't matter, right? That's why we got to stay focused too. So let's see. Bogani, how you doing? African Native, he says this is war, and warfare is spiritual. It just escalated over on earth. Don't expect it to change. Oh no, it's gonna get worse. But see, that time is up. Time is up. And you watching all this unfold as we speak. Time is up, which is why we have been told as Black folks, hey, you better get away from them people. It's time to separate, okay? Because time is up. Just watch the weather. Just sit back and watch sometimes. If your people log off, touch some grass, and actually see what's going on around them, it'll blow your mind. If you really get in tune to what's going on, it will blow your mind because it's undeniable. Okay. Easy E, where have you been? I was about to send out a B, whatever it is. Look at
Bolo,
well, all that. He said the Thug's violent record was criminal in Melo's defense. Leaving that out was deliberate failure. Yeah, they knew who they was talking about, but they wanted to make everybody think that Austin was just angel. Okay, he was a cherubim and he was just minding his business, and this angry monster, sought him out. It's like, if you don't knock it off, okay, Black folks, especially those of us who are really awake, and I'm not talking about woke in the sense that them people hijack the word out, woke, go woke. See, that goes to show you, if you know that Black Americans are the flex, put a 1 in the chat. They can't even come up with their own word. They done hijack woke and made it something bad, right? I'll go woke, I'll go broke. Like, man, every time y'all say something that we come up with, y'all just make it sound, you like, we don't even want it no more. But the other thing is, y'all so creative and innovative, y'all can't come up with your own sayings, your own words. No, you can't. And like I said, to somebody in one of my comment sections the other day, it said, wow, I didn't know you had so many, angry white people here. I said, I didn't know either. I said, but they are drawn to Black excellence. I said, can you blame them? They can't stay away from us. And they're here in the chat now, right? If I wasn't Black too, I'd be like, what them Black people doing?
Hey, and real quick, you guys, do us a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button. It's absolutely free. It helps the algorithm and it helps get this conversation out there. So we got to get these conversations going and share on your groups and then on your pages.
Jay, how you doing? Says, my question is, if we were to separate, how would we stop them folks from destroying what we build? Y'all know they don't like to see us have anything. Well, it's a different day and age.
It's a different type of Black person you're dealing with.
Well, and then again, I want to be clear, okay? Because I know we run our ancestors low. Let me tell y'all something. Why you think them people had to go get other towns next to them when they was getting ready to go burn down the Black town? Because our Black ancestors was like, nah, hell no, right? They had weapons and all kind of stuff, and they fought them off. And so they couldn't fight our people on their own. So they went to the town over here, and the town over there. That's what happened with Black Wall Street. They got 3 towns of white folks to go take down Black folks because our people wasn't no punks. Our people didn't open the door and said, oh my God, if you must come in. In fact, our people went to the jail and said, let him loose. And they let him loose, right? And so they was mad because they was like, oh, Black people, what Black folks was doing was defending themselves. They wasn't starting nothing that wasn't started by them people. They was defending themselves, and they went and spread that lie that something happened to a white woman. And that's why we got to go in there. And that's what they did in every town. And even during the slavery on the plantations, our people fought back. See, we hear about Nat Turner, but we don't hear about all the other slave revolts that went on, right? It happened a lot. So please, I cannot stress that enough. We got to stop telling the story that our ancestors were punked, because they weren't. They were just not outnumbered necessarily, but outgunned. Let's always make sure we tell that.
Yeah, you also got to remember, they bombed those towns. You can only bomb a town if you're using the military against the population. See, they don't want to tell that part of it because they used the military in substantive numbers to defeat and get rid of these towns.
And only 2 times in history, American history, that bombs were dropped on as American citizens was Black Wall Street and Move in 1985 in Philadelphia. Those are the 2 times that they dropped bombs on American citizens with Black people, they being the government of the United States of America. So that's what we're dealing with. But Brother Jay, we dealing in a different time, right? Not that our people back then, were punks. There's different laws and stuff that gives us some protection, but everybody else separate. Every other culture separates. They have their own town. But whenever Black folks talk about doing it, wow, what about the human race? You don't give a damn about no human race. What you give a damn about is you ain't going to be able to plagiarize what we doing. You ain't going to be able to learn how to season your food. Hell, y'all still having a conversation about washing your legs or not, right? That's what you care about. Anyway, Brother Jonell said, Dred Scott, ruling is always in play. Our separation is divinely ordained. We all would be wise to desire and work to establish our own on all levels and remain depending on being lynched in these modern times of zero change. Black unity is true global change. Absolutely global. Okay. I know we got to get together here in our Americans, Black Americans, but it has to happen eventually. Okay. So just so we know, thank you, Brother Jonell. Let's see. I'm skipping down. I know there's a lot of people. One who cares? Did I say hi to you? If not, hello, hello. Let's see. Just skipping down, going all the way down. Leather Luxury Car says you love living in Detroit. Okay, Sister B. Hunted House John, what's going on? Sister B says Tariq Nasheed was never a part of American descendant of slavery. ADOS, there was nothing, not infighting. Tariq's objective was always to co-opt ADOS, trying to infiltrate, lie. Antonio, Yvette, checked him. And Sister B, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm familiar with some of it, but I don't get involved in none of it, okay? Because I know that there's a lot going on. And as I said, and I always said, it's been my mantra from as way back in the gap, I'm not about to be fighting with black people nowhere, okay? Do I disagree with black people? Yes, but I'm not about to be fighting with black people, not especially in the public square. So I know some of the history of that, but I just try to stay out of it. But I got you. I got you. Easy says, keep hanging around them people. Will put you... I like I said, I don't know why some of us don't believe fat meat is greasy. Zelma, how you doing? Says, who were this judge name? I need to be put in our minds. Chitty and Roach were their last names. Chitty and Roach. For real. Those are the
Isn't that crazy how that works out? Isn't that crazy?
Chitty Roach. All right, y'all, I'm going down. I know there's a lot of comments in the thing. Somebody said I sound like Karen Hunter. Oh, God, let me change up then. Let's see. Going down. Who else haven't I seen? Because I know there's a lot of comments. I see y'all comments. I just want to make sure I get to everybody. Brother Jonell, I get to you since I see you on Facebook. He says, we have Marcus Garvey, Noble Juad Lee, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as examples of what true Black independent thinking is, not this colonized mind, slave thinking, leading us blind to the embrace our colonizers and enemies who openly slaughter and us, of course, give zero justice. We must decolonize fully, 100%, and I co-sign that. Space Gate, he says Kamelo Anthony, a very smart young man, came prepared. He been watching them from day one, how to move. Free Kamelo Anthony. Yeah, I'm not sure what this thing was, you know, with the knife or whatever, but it's a lot going on. I tell you what, there's a lot of lessons out of this too. You know, do your best to just try to walk away, because especially in certain places and things, when it comes to them people, they're going to make sure that their people get justice, even though they were acting unjustly. Okay. So do your best to walk away, right? As much as you can. Right now, I understand that wasn't necessarily easy to do from what people were saying under that tent. I know the story that they told, but from what I heard, I'm going to say allegedly, is that they jumped in. It wasn't just the brothers. It was other people as well. So, you know.
Dimitri, I have a question for you. Now, this incident happened in Texas, where you're at currently. And you have a bunch of Black state senators, state representatives. You have a bunch of Black congressional representatives, and you have the thing called the Black Caucus. Now, seeing the injustice that is going on in this trial and what is going on in this trial, why haven't we heard more? I hear more from these Black politicians about illegal immigrants and all this other stuff than I do about cases like this. Very few cases like this that involve a Black man being or a woman being railroaded unnecessarily. And again, you have a bunch of Black people from the 90s that are still sitting in jail under the 3 strikes law and the Joe Biden law for smoking weed, and yet nothing is done about that. So what is your take on that? I just don't understand why we're not hearing the outrage from these so-called servants that we send up there to Washington.
And I'm always answer it the same. Why would you do anything for a group of people that you don't have to do anything for, and they're going to show up for you anyway? Why? It's the feed the bears mentality. They already getting, so the feed the bears mentality is they're already getting their portion of food. And they tell you not to feed the bears, especially not to liken us to a bear, okay? But at the zoo, because then they will expect more than what they're already getting. So it's the feed the bears mentality. If you give them something, then now they're going to something extra per se, not that they're giving us anything, but then they'll expect it. So they already give us their vote. Then we don't have to do nothing for Black folks. They'll vote for us and they'll watch this, especially Democrats, right? And those black people will watch us go do for everybody else, illegal immigrants, the LGBTQEEE, whatever it is, go do for all these people. All these other things will get progress, but not black folks. We get fish fries. The last thing our town hall went to, they offer spaghetti, right? You get the twerking, you get all that stuff. When I say all that stuff is nothing, it's symbolism. And they know we're gonna show up and do it again. So why would you talk about justice? Why?
Right. For those of you guys that don't know, if you don't follow the African Diaspora News Channel app, you can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. Demetra put a video out in regards to the recent primary election down in Florida in that new district that had the 4 black representatives and the 1 white lady, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And think about it. Oh my God, black vote is, it's Jim Crow 2.0. They're taking the black vote away from us. This district is predominantly black, and yet a white woman won the district. Demetra, real quick, could you elaborate on that situation there?
Yes, I want to say real quick, thank you, Albie Chill, for the donation. Please, y'all go to a black-owned social media site, Jara Gold. It is amazing. We cannot continue to cry about what Mark Zuckerberg or any of these other people are saying or are doing to black folks on these platforms. If we do not go support our own platforms, Jara Go, of course, you have the African Diaspora News Channel. Those are apps that are created for us, by us, so we can be unapologetic. We don't have to bridle our tongue, say words like unalived and things like that, right? So please, if y'all haven't already, it's free. Go download it. It's free. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You will love it. So thank you once again. Now, and Rex, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Ronald, Rex, I should say. So yeah, really quick. And Uncle Luke Skywalker, the 2 Live crew, don't stop, get it. He was running for the 20th congressional district there in Florida. And Debbie Wasserman
got cheated. Wait a minute, and got cheated the same way they did here in LA. But go ahead.
I ain't heard nothing about that. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who's a white woman, who's a career politician, has been in office for 20-something years. Her district got taken. Remember when Trump was doing told the Republicans in red states to snatch districts from Democrats. So her district was one of them. So while that was going on, you heard black politicians and just politicians all over talking about the black representation is being taken by Trump, this, that, and the other. And lo and behold, a white woman, a Democrat, went and took herself and ran in the 20th district. That is a historically black district that had a black representative, Alcee Hastings, until he died, for 34 years. And then they had another one, but she was a scammer. Okay. Sheila McCormick. So anyway, Debbie is going to be going up against the Republican and the Independent in November to represent that district. Lo and behold. So right there to tell you that these Democrats do be lying. Okay. They said that the black representation was important, and then they went and put their weight behind a white woman to represent an all black district, just like they did in New Orleans for the mayor at 60% black residents. And they have a Latina who came over here from Mexico when she was 9 because her parents was here illegally. Now she's the mayor of New Orleans, and one of the blackest cities in America. Would you look at that?
Yes, and Marco Rubio, he came here, was born in the United States from illegal parents at the time. They ended up getting their citizenship later, but the mere fact that he was born to illegal parents, while, when he was born, his parents were not citizens. They came here illegally. Isn't that strange? The people that break the law are the people that are making the laws. Isn't that strange?
Yeah. I got you, Easy. I forgot the Chevrolet. Mike says, if they don't see color, how do they match their clothes? Right. Brother Salmon says, my mom used to say they could change the law, but that don't change the people. Come on now. Those ideologies and teachings are still going to be there. It does not matter. Okay. At all. With the, what you call it? Brother Jonell just put it up there. Dred Scott, basically, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't care what law come out. We ain't going to respect black people. Never, no time. Okay. We don't care. And I think we should know that. Right. Ronald Rex says there's no little black American. What? Pop says they say Jeff Metcalf is into being, you know what? I don't know what that man got going on in his bedroom. He's stupid. Let me skip down, y'all. Current affairs with Sarah. How you doing? Says we should also call out hold on, I got you. We should also call out who slandered Kamelo in the beginning, and the same twins that sided with the whole time view them the same as they view Kamelo. Yes. So I think you're talking about the twins. So you're talking about Austin and his brother Hunter, or are you talking about the black dudes? The Hodge twins and all of them. Yeah, we don't pay no attention to them because you know what? Their time is coming as well. That's why I always tell people to study Lincoln Perry, Step and Fetch It. That was his stage name. Just go study that and see what happened to him. Do you know that he was the first black millionaire actor in America? Step and Fetch It was. And that's because white people got him to portray, and this was his moniker, the laziest man in the world. Okay. I can't read. And, and then they got tired of him. Now I hear a lot of people say when white supremacy gets tired of black people, they like tools, they break them or something like that. But I like to use Lincoln Perry because when white folks got tired of him, he couldn't tap dance no more. They was like, beat it. We're gonna find somebody else. And black folks is like, nah, we good, homie, because we told you to stop letting the white folks use you and put that portrayal of black folks out there in the world. So Lincoln Perry, God rest his soul, died broke, an alcoholic, and alone. He was the wealthiest black actor at the time. Okay, first millionaire actor, and the white folks paid him all that money to do what he was doing, and then he just couldn't understand what happened. It's like, well, they found somebody else, I'm quite sure. So that's what's gonna happen to your Tatums, your Hodge twins, and all these other people who like to scratch where they don't itch, and all those other things. Their time is coming, and you know what's gonna be so sad for them? They're not gonna care about what we think. They're gonna care when the white folks say, "Man, beat it, we done with you." So yeah. Let's see. I'm going down. Scoop says we are the true kings and queens of this land, not the land, but the earth, the universe. As student minister Ishmael Muhammad broke it down so eloquently during the webcast today, he was like, see, we think, and I'm paraphrasing, we think it too small, right? We talk about, we go back to Africa. He says we are descendants of God, okay? We are descendants of God. So we playing ourselves short. We the kings and queens of all of this. And as far as you can see out in the space, yes, indeed. But I hear
it's funny. It's funny that you say this because when you talk to some people who aren't knowledgeable, there's like I said, let's just be real. Ignorance is rampant within our community because we do not read. We do not read on a basis. We just don't do it anymore. We used to do it. And we're still dope and dynamic. There's no doubt about that. But if we're not descendants of gods, how did Moses infiltrate Pharaoh's kingdom and become a very powerful person within Egypt? Because just like, and I get this from one of Demetrius' favorite groups, BDP, because he looked just like him. God has to have had dark skin. That's why when I look at these white people and people look at these white people like gods, I'm like, how? It even describes what Jesus looks like, a person of bronze skin, hair of wool, fire. So you can't tell me we're not dope and dynamic.
Absolutely. Brother Jonell says the Supreme Court ruling via Judge Taney states till this day, blacks, whether free or enslaved, don't have a law that white man is bound to respect. When it comes to them, blacks were not and had never been intended to be citizens under the U.S. Constitution, nor are blacks in truth U.S. citizens. Majority are prey to being white branded in name, in the thought of being included and white dreams decolonized fully. Yes. Yeah. So that doesn't change. They might say, well, we're going to change the law to make it favorable to you. No, they're not. The real Miss Blue, what's going on with you? Sister Shirley says a lot of our people has internalized racism. Yeah. That's why I said there's a lot of black folks who are anti-black as well. They need to be called out. Rhonda, how you doing? Says, is that a clown? Or you say talking to somebody else, but how you doing? Anthony, what's going on? He says Melo didn't even like y'all. How you know? You never even heard of Carmelo Anthony until you heard of him. Stop making up stuff. I don't even know who you are or whatever, but what I can't stand is an ignorant mofo that won't read, won't study, just be making up stuff, going on with narratives. It's like, man, you ain't talking to no dummies over here. Go to them chats where they believe all that foolishness y'all got to say, but over here we think for ourselves. Thank you. Tressia, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. And I saw all y'all put a 1 in the chat. They unoriginal. As I said, they can have mayonnaise. Y'all can have that. because we know how to season. Is mayonnaise a seasoning? I'm just curious. Anyway, back to the chat. Easy says D. Then they got government in on destroying towns. Yeah, the government knew they was doing it. The government was in on it. They was they knew what was going on, but they pretended like they didn't, and or they did orchestrate and have conversations with the mayors and the governors, right, of what to do. Okay, well, we just gonna, and all this other stuff, as they was dilapidating Black towns and destroying Black lives. And that's another reason why we need our money, our land, whatever it is. We need our reparations, right? Because all the things that were going on and happening to us, and it's still happening to us this day, we want it all. Brand new socks and drawers. And it's not if, it's when, okay? Because you don't get to decide when we get what's due to us, right? And the other thing too is, I'm talking to y'all, okay? Y'all talk about y'all big time Christians. You go to church, you read the Bible and all this stuff. Do you really read the Bible? Because you know what you put out there got to come back to you. So ain't no way in hell you reading that Bible. Because if you were, you wouldn't be doing the things that you were doing. You wouldn't be saying the things that you're saying, because you got to get that back. How do you do what you did to Black people? They're one of the original sins, right? Including what you did to the indigenous, but the original sins of America. How do you do what you did to us and don't repent for that or atone and think that you're going to make it? That doesn't happen nowhere. Now, justice might be delayed depending on who you ask, but baby, it's on the way. If you don't believe nothing else I said, you believe that.
And you were talking about how the government colludes to destroy these towns, right? How many of you guys remember just last year, Hispanic council members got caught on mic right there in LA conspiring and talking bad about Black people, and also up in San Jose, California. Democratic California, liberal California, that's supposed to be Mr. Kumbaya. You guys that have no idea how racist California is, because they hide behind their positions and they do it in a government hand secretly. California is one of the most racist states that there is. They make it seem in a magic trick like, oh yeah, we're kumbaya and all this other stuff, but yet a reparations bill that took 2 years to study wouldn't even make it to the floor due to the Black caucus here and a coalition of Asian and Hispanics that refused to let that bill get to the floor. So again, conspiring against Black people and Black communities is nothing new. It is still the same playbook that goes on till this very day.
It's the same old playbook. That's what Kamelo said, right? It's the same old playbook. Brother Joe Nell says, Get Out is not just a movie. The Purge is not. Come on, man. That one Purge, boy, I tell you what, I was watching that movie. I said, that's about us, okay? Says the Purge is not just a movie. It's happening, surviving the game. Come on now. He digging in the crates. Surviving the Game. I tell y'all always to watch that movie, Surviving the Game with Ice-T. Surviving the Game.
It's on YouTube if you guys want to watch it. Surviving the Game. It's on YouTube.
Yes, Surviving the Game. It's not just a movie. It's happening. We gotta awakening from our docile state. We are, and our children are captive prey in a nation of beasts, and sons and daughters are perdition, ruin, which will only get worse. As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has warned what to see the future, listen to any lecture of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I probably once a day I listen to something from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and of course y'all know I have all the books and all of that. So I totally agree with you, because the messages are there. Yes, indeed. John, what you on, man? You say, where are we gonna protest at? Are you being funny? Because I could block you if you're being funny. I had a last laugh, I promise you. I'm gonna be nice because I'm not quite sure where you're going with that. Poppy says Brandon Tatum likes sucking the you know, I can't read all of that, but yes, Brandon Tatum is, boy, I tell you what, I know his biscuits. K-Mac, it says FBAs have to keep pushing for restorations or reparations. Absolutely. Megan, how you doing? Says, I have to give you the side eye. The boy got a fair trial. He's lucky he didn't get life. He went there to give trouble. He goaded them. If you don't knock it off, listen, white lady, I'm sure you white. Okay. You will not convince us of that. Okay. Y'all, one thing I want to tell you as well. and maybe y'all haven't gotten the message. I think that's kind of where y'all struggle. Black people ain't listening to y'all. I know as a time we had to, yes, ma'am. Yeah, whatever you say, ma'am. Nah, hell no. Okay. We're not listening to you. And I'm going to tell you why what y'all problem is. Y'all don't have any coping skills. Because when black folks say we not listening to you or y'all can't take it. So y'all think y'all going to try. You're not going to convince me of that. Just like I'm not going to convince you that slavery was wrong. Okay, you're not going to convince me of your foolishness or your delusion. Okay, you wasn't there. You don't know what happened. But of course, it don't matter what happened to y'all because the victim was white and the aggressor was black, whether it was justified or not. But like I said, stop talking to us because we're not listening to you. MC Fact, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Y'all said I was gonna be good today. I think I'm doing okay. Albie Chill says, Hakum, you better stop. Hakum Jeffrey is crazy. Already let us know what time it is too. Yeah, you know what time it is with him. Okay, and it's what is it? What time is it in the Middle East? That's what time it is. Well, I like the Hakum Jeffries. Beverly, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. I'm trying to get to the bottom, y'all. There's so many of y'all. Jesus is coming. I know damn well you ain't in the comment section calling yo Jesus talking about murder is murder, period. Anyone. Well, you know, why don't y'all? I know you don't believe that. You know why I don't believe that? Because y'all, and I know you probably that y'all right now is trying to get Derek Chauvin out of jail. So shut up. Y'all don't believe that. Y'all only believe it when y'all on the bottom pushing up daisies. That's the only time y'all believe that, when you're pushing up daisies. And let's keep it a buck. Have y'all seen all them women and some silly sisters out there? They out there supporting that lady that unalived 3 of her babies. Like, what in the hell is going on in America? See, that's why I said they just be saying stuff. How you say murder is murder, and that white lady took out 3 of her children, and all y'all out there flew for miles and miles all over, donated almost $1 million for this white woman that did that to her babies. Y'all just be saying stuff you don't even believe. So you think I'm gonna believe it? Like I said, there's a comment section somewhere. They'll believe all that foolishness y'all got going on, but it ain't this one. The hell is going on? Y'all know I'm starting to sweat now. King Shaw says, damn, Luke did all that shilling for Kamelo and still lost. I never thought that Luke was gonna win, right? Luke, he's probably bored. I didn't think he was gonna win. But
no, he wasn't gonna win. But the fact of the matter that he found out how Democrats get down. Democrats have to cheat to win elections because Black people at our core, we are conservative. Like right now, what's going on in Detroit? Like I said, I'm more of the, if you guys are new to the show, the program, I'm more of the political person type. And what's going on with that Arab up in Detroit? The Democrats cannot win elections without the Black vote. They've got to have a 90% thing or more of the Black vote. If they don't have that, they can't win elections. So what they do is they steal elections. That's what happened here at Mr. Pratt right here in LA. You guys saw the woman conceded and she was in tears that she had lost. She had conceded the election. There should be, I thought there was a rule. If you concede, then no matter what comes out, you've given up. You quit. So the person should win. They stole the election from Mr. Pratt in real time, and this is what they do. Even Demetra noticed this. That woman joined the election just to ensure that they keep that seat for Karen Bass. So, you know, okay, I'm going to say this as a Californian, and those of us that are from California, we know this already. Even if Karen Bass loses to this lady who is an Indian, again, another foreigner, it doesn't make sense to me how these people been here for little or nothing years and they become political juggernauts. Even if Karen Bass loses right now, you're getting a Karen Bass 2.0 in this other lady. So we can't win for losing. And this is why you need to understand your candidates, follow the money, and know what the hell you're voting for. Oh, I didn't vote for Karen Bass. I voted for the other chick. It's the same person. And that's where we're at. It's just sad. But again, we're conservative by trait. Democrats cannot win elections without stealing them. Uncle Luke saw the ballot harvesting in real time. And I remember he even said when Donald Trump was saying that was happening to him, Donald Trump's a liar, whatever. And this man got on national news TV, local news TV down there and said that he could not believe Donald Trump was right. It's not a problem until it happens to you.
I don't know why my thing does that, but I want to say too, ballot harvesting is not illegal. Just so we know, it's not illegal. It's sometimes how they, they do it, like they force people to sign or to vote for a certain party or whatever, but they can collect ballots. As certain states have different reasons why. Like, so if a family member or somebody who is elderly or disabled, they can have somebody pick it up or something like that. But, it just depends. So I just want to put that out there. And Courtney, I shall. So let me go all the way down. I didn't realize how far behind I am. Oh no, I got to the bottom. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
And do you know what's crazy about these elections that really scares me? And Uptight says it right here. He says LA City is rigged. Bass is asking for 5.00, 500, whatever. But what's scary to me, the election was being stolen in real time. What was it, Uptight? 27,000 votes that came in late at night all went to one candidate. What is scary about that is nobody protested, went into the streets or anything. And this is our problem as American citizens. We just let it happen. And again, you've got a lot of citizens that are here legally or illegally that come from countries where this type of stuff is normal. It's normal to rig elections. It's normal to get your beak wet. What scared me about that election was, statistically, those of us that have been to college, or if you're really good at math, knows it is impossible to get 27,000 votes to go almost unanimously to one candidate that conceded the election. Make it make sense.
And I want to say allegedly, we don't, about the cheating. I just have to say allegedly. But yeah, I saw when Nithya Ram, or whatever her name is, she conceded, she cried and things. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, she bested that of Spencer Pratt. But I see a lot of people say write in Spencer Pratt. If that's a thing there in LA, you can write his name in. I'm not sure if that's what you can do, but I've seen a lot of people say to write his name in because, yeah, Karen Bass and Nithya, boy, I'll tell you what. LA, you in danger, girl. You in danger. All right, so let's see.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, my goodness. It is a mess in Los Angeles. I tell you what. Like I said, I want to move back. I'm a Cali girl, but I just can't do it under the circumstances because California. Woo! He says, did you hear about the black youth who unalived a white youth after he pistol whipped him? I haven't heard about that at all, but I'm sure now I will hear about that. So yeah, y'all know on the weekend I'll be kind of logged off a little bit. I'll be on there every once in a while. Albie Chill says, Democrats been masked off for a minute now. If you're black FBA and still supporting them, you are put party over your people on your treasons. I totally agree to it. And Malcolm X told us that, right? Says you're a traitor to the race if you, continue to vote for these lying liberals. We know the conservative ain't nothing, right? They never have been for black folks. Well, I'll say never, neither party, but we pledge our allegiance to the Democrats, and they give us their behind to kiss. Okay, but they're starting to understand. They're starting to see a little bit like, yeah, black folks really ain't voting for us like they used to. They're entertaining the couch, which is why we believe that Roland Martin, that expose came out about him not too long ago, is because he mentioned that the couch was a choice. And a lot of black folks probably like, you mean it? You really mean it? Right? So yeah, they was like, you got to stop doing that, or we gonna put these pictures out here. Or whatever. So Jerron says, I used to say sorry, but I'm not really sorry when my mother forced me to apologize to people that I felt unapologetic to. You talk about my shirt. Easy says, Donovan, it's the love everybody, sponsored by Democrats. These Indians are power hungry. They're running for office everywhere to benefit their people. But you know what, though? I'm not mad at them. That's what they're supposed to do. Right? They have been allowed to come over here. Thank you to Black Americans. You better thank a Black American. Okay. Thank you to Black Americans. The way we vote for these Democrats, they have opened the borders and let a lot of people come over here, and then they plant roots, right? Whether they Somali or Indian or Asian, whatever. They get into office and they say, now that I'm in office, What do you guys want? And when I say you guys, I mean my people. What do you want? You want your own this, you want your own that. Oh, sure, we can make it happen, right? I know Black Americans made it possible for us to get here because they are irresponsible with their vote. They never vote for anything that benefits them. But since I'm here, I'm going to make sure that you guys get everything you want. That's what happened. So why are we mad at, the illegal immigrants, the Somalis, the who else? The Indians and anybody else? Why are we mad at them? What's her face? Premier Jayapal, I think she's Indian. She got here in 2001. She said that when they get back in office, that they're going to find a way to fund reparations for illegal immigrants, and they're going to hold Trump and ICE accountable for the things that they have done to the illegal immigrants.
Yes, and here's the funny thing about that. If you guys hadn't heard this, she's going to fund reparations without a study. No study needed. They're just going to give them the money. But we need a study. Black folks need a study. California has done 2 years worth of study. There's no state that needs to do a study on Black reparations. California has already completed it. But she wants to give illegals and immigrants, whatever, reparations with no study. And yet the Black bourgeois and the representatives are silent about that. Silent.
That's because they agree with her. They agree that illegal immigrants should get reparations. It's like you came over here and broke the damn law. Coming over the border illegally is against the law, which means that you are a criminal and you are going to be rewarded with reparations for being a criminal. Huh? But it's like I said, she relies on a lot of Black votes. There's going to be a lot of Black people that vote for her because I just got to vote blue no matter who. I can't just be voting for anybody. I'm a vote blue no matter who. And then when she get up there and then her and her homies talk about reparations for illegal immigrants, then they going to be mad. It's like, shut your mouth, because we tried to tell you and you wanted to go in there and just stick out your eye. You wasn't going to ask what was in the infusion. You were just going to go do it anyway.
Yes, her primary election, she garnered 40-something% of the Black vote in her area where she was at. Yeah, very true.
Donovan, what do they call me sometimes? Not the bad stuff. Not the bad stuff.
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. Because I've been saying that they're going to show up in all the elections. But I mean, how they put a white woman in an historically Black district in Florida. The Debbie Wasserman shows is a very lily white woman. Okay.
And Jewish.
Over there.
And Jewish.
Yeah, she ain't going to do a damn thing for Black folks. Oh, I understand the history of this. Oh, I'm going to protect Elsie Hastings' legacy. Oh, I'm going to make sure the district is represented. You a bald-faced lie. Liar. You're not. What were you doing in the 25th district that Black people could say, gosh, we're really going to miss Debbie? You're a liar.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that the 25th district was mostly Indian and Asian people that voted her in majority.
Yeah, so there you have it. Like I said, I tell you. I went to the doctor the other day. You know what they said my blood pressure was? 112/74. That's damn good, ain't it? Because I've just been like,
No, I'm the same way. See, I don't get surprised by our politics now. When you know what is going on, your heart is at rest. You are at peace. That's why Donovan could get on a plane, go enjoy myself, come back, because I know what's going on. I do not vote in the aspect of what is best for Black people. I vote what is best for what's in my wallet. And by doing that, both of these parties have to cater to get my vote, because I'm not just giving my vote to one party and saying, okay, here you go, whatever. And then I got to pay higher taxes. I got to do this. I got to do that. And my own demise. When we start doing that and stop acting like a monolith, maybe they'll pay more attention to, well, they're starting to do it now, but we should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah. Zachariah, thank you so much for the super sticker. Love it. Appreciate you for that. I do. Lance, how you doing? It says, because they are rubbing their freeloading in our faces. Well, we letting them do it. We know they doing it. We know that the Republicans, and I'm not telling you to vote for them. I'm just saying the Republicans ain't kicking the border doors wide open and telling them I come over here and get all you can get. Money, housing, all the resources. They not telling, that's the Democrats that's doing that, right? What's her face? Delia Ramirez, I think that's her name. She's when the birthright citizenship thing got struck down that Trump was trying to do at the Supreme Court, and he's doing other things. And I know they like, oh, we should have just let the birthright citizenship thing pass, because Trump and them, boy, I tell you what, they was like, hold our beer. But she bragged about it on Twitter. She said, I'm a proud anchor baby. These ain't my words. Those are her words. I'm a proud anchor baby because her mama came over here when she was pregnant with her, squat down on American soil and had her. And therefore she became a citizen. And now she is a congresswoman and champion illegal immigration. These are her words, not mine. You can go look it up. Delia Ramirez on her Twitter.
Wasn't there a councilwoman in Boston? She was an undocumented. She was the first undocumented woman, thick, whatever, from Islam. I don't know what country she was from, but do you guys see a pattern here? These people that come from these s-hole countries, right? These failed states, they come here and they grift and they take our tax dollars and they get caught up, and all of a sudden, oh, I'm a mother, I'm this. They never want to do the time for the crime. That brother in Somalia, up in Minnesota. This dude had the nerve to bribe a witness at the courthouse. And he just went to jail, whatever. He wanted the judge to let him out so he could spend time with his family. They come here with a mentality of where they come from. There's no allegiance to any, to what they're doing. You can't take a person from a failed state, let's say like Haiti, like Somalia, whatever, and bring them here and think that their whole dynamic is going to change. And this is where, and then, okay, the money's stolen. That's money taken out of my mouth, your children's mouth, the American people's taxpayers' mouth. We're never going to recover that money. We're never going to recover that money. And then your girl, Ilhan Omar, whatever her name is, she doesn't even care right now if she gets deported or her citizenship gets revoked, because she says, oh, I got a home in Somalia. They do not have allegiance to the United States. This is why I think that if you're an immigrant, to hold political office, you need to be 3 generations removed from your initial immigration. These people have no allegiance to the United States. How many of you guys saw there was a show on YouTube? I saw it last night. There was this black girl, very attractive young black girl, who got her citizenship, right? And then she said that her allegiance is to her home state. She said she had to say what she had to say to get the citizenship. But her allegiance isn't to the United States, it's to whatever. Her citizenship should be revoked right then and there. It's crazy. We are living in Pizarro world. If you guys don't know what Pizarro world, it's Superman's alter ego enemy where everything is backwards. Pizarro world.
Yeah. Well, I think most of them, I mean, you'll say what you got to say to stay, right? But then, of course, you pledge your allegiance when you send in money and all kind of stuff back, and all of that. So it's not surprising. I mean, legal immigration, I don't think is the problem. It's the illegal immigration. I mean, because people immigrate all over the world, right? They move different countries and things like that. It's the illegal immigration. And for whatever reason, America was a few that have open borders. A few, not a lot. But people want America to be open border. Everybody just come on in and get all you could get. And then they, say that the Americans that are here you're lazy. It's like, how the hell? So we become lazy because we say we don't think that illegal immigrants should be able to come over here and get all that there is to get when you got American citizens sleeping on the streets, can't put gas in their car, can't go to the grocery store, can't keep a roof over their head, and barely keeping a job because everything is laying off and all these other things, right? And then you even talk about something like entrepreneurship, the ranchers with the cattle, right? The beef, even they're up against it because now Trump talking about he's going to import beef, to try to stabilize and I guess encourage the U.S. Ranchers to do ABC. And then they're like, wait a minute, sucker. Now I know I voted for you, but damn, okay. But at the end of the day, and I keep saying this, I know people get mad when I said Trump is a salesman. Trump don't give a damn about white folks. He don't care about black people. He don't care about immigrants. He don't care about nobody but his orange self and his family. His son is a billionaire, became a billionaire within a year, the second term, right? All of his kids are wealthy. All these. So Trump cares about Trump. So, but so when you think about illegal immigration, it's like, yeah, y'all, but it's not that America, there's some people are lazy. Let's keep it a buck, right? But there's lazy people all over the world. But even if there was everybody in America was lazy, that don't mean you should come over here illegally. Okay. Now I know that there's, different corporation stuff that hire them because they can pay them less or whatever. But what I was going with, the whole entrepreneurs, even they suffering. Do you know here in Houston, my daughter showed me a report that says there's 41,000 houses on the market in Houston. A couple of years ago, that wasn't the case. You couldn't find a house. I mean, it was these bidding wars, and that's kind of true. Like during the pandemic, right? These bidding wars where people are losing these homes. For one, is the property taxes and insurance and things like that. And a lot of people are like, hey, I ain't got the money to keep this house no more. I can't afford it. And I'm gonna tell you, when I'm driving around, various parts.
Or you lost your good American job. I don't mean to cut you off, but you lost your good American job. They said, what, 600,000 Black women now, according to the statistics, have lost some form of employment.
Black women, there's Black men, there's white people, everybody's lost their jobs right now. Is it more so Black women? I don't know. Black men are always the most unemployed. So I don't understand how, and I know it's not you, Don, but I'm saying and it's a play to keep Black folks divided. Black women lost all these jobs. Black women lost all these jobs. Oh, the Black women lost all these jobs. Like, damn, what about the Black man? That's why I said if I was a Black man and I'm not, I wouldn't be voting for no Democrats. They don't care about y'all either. They only care about y'all when y'all are, as my nephew would say, fashionably involved. Okay, that's all I'm trying to care about you. Or if you are bootlick, but it's Black women, Black women, Black women. Black women is a backbone of the Democrats. Also, what is the Black man? He Black man. Y'all voted right behind the Black woman for Kamelo to the tune of 78%. Them 92%. Y'all 78%, and y'all don't get no respect. So I don't know why Black men keep voting for the Democratic Party. They've showed you time and time again that you do not matter. They keep talking about the Black woman as though she's and it sucks. I was a Black woman that lost a job before, so I know how that feels. But they talk about the Black woman as though she's the only one that matters. She's the only one that's not going to be able to put food on the table.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of Black women believe that. And you guys don't know this, but Demetra is a Jamal Bryant fan. No, I'm joking. I'm going to say that for you. But even he's saying the reason, look, isn't this crazy? This is me, not Demetra. Scammer pastor Jamal Bryant out there in Georgia. He is blaming the 11 to 13% loss in revenue and tithing to Black women. Even he is blaming Black women for the ills of the economy. How many of you guys have heard about that?
I have, yes. When the tithes get light, it's like, oh, hell no. You mean the tithes and offering is light? Yeah, we ain't got it, Pastor. I'm going to have to do what the Bible told me to do in the first place and just put my house first. Okay. Bible ain't told me to sow no seed of faith and hope and wish and pray that I'm going to be able to put bread on the table and that the lights is going to stay on even though I ain't paid the light bill. God ain't told me to do that. Right. So now I'm really doing what it asked me to do. Yeah. I did. Hey, listen, church, I ain't got it. You know how you walk around the bucket at church and you tap the bucket, like God bless it and Jesus wept or whatever it is. And, somebody going to put something in there for me here and pass the bucket or whatever. So yeah. But it sucks. I'm not making light of it. I lost a job before. And that was horrible. It's like, excuse me, say what? It was a good job too. Okay. But then from that point, I was like, bet I'm gonna make sure I eat. Whether I got to collect cans, I'm gonna make sure that I find a way to eat and never depend on nobody else to put food on the table for me.
Yeah, and I'm not making light of this because it isn't just whatever the number is. If for some reason they pointed out how many Black women lost their jobs, we know Black men work as well. But not to make light of this, and I'm just saying this, maybe if the Black woman wouldn't be so vocal about, we're the ones with the most degrees, we're the one with the houses, we're the one buying the houses, we don't need no men for this, whatever. When you tell your enemy what your financial or whatever your position is, that's a weakness. And again, I'm not saying they set you up, but to me, it's almost like a setup. Yeah, you guys Black women in general started believing the hype. Oh, look, we're buying the houses. But what you're not saying on the reverse side is, yeah, you guys have a lot of degrees, but you also have the most debt. Yeah, you guys have the house isn't paid for, the bank owns it. You're going to lose that. So if you lose your job, it's a cascading effect. I would say it was more of a setup than anything else. And again, when you pumped your chest out there and you're all that, this type of thing happens. But what I think needs to happen, Demetra, I can't support these single women alone. They need to legalize whatever so the ladies can make these house payments before they mess up their credit.
Listen, they've been and got put out the house with you $2 Negroes, okay? Talking about I got $2 to make it holler. No, okay? I mean, you know, the solution is black men and women need to get together, okay? I know black women talk about the degrees and stuff like that, and yeah, with degrees you can make a little bit more money. So I ain't gonna never fault a black woman or whoever. Black men got degrees too. I mean, it's not. I know black women have what's from what they say, the most degrees or something like that, but I got degrees. I don't know.
No, they're the most enrolled. That's not true. They're the most enrolled.
Well, regardless, okay, it's the A for effort, whatever, you know. Black men and women need to be together. Black men and women need to build. And what I saw, black men and women are, the marriage rate is upticking. So that's a good thing, right? That's why I said log off the internet, go touch some grass, breathe some fresh air sometimes, because you spend all your time on the internet, you're going to believe
you say grass?
I said touch, not smoke.
No, but did you? Oh, I thought you said ass. Go touch some ass. I'm sorry.
No, don't do that, because you know I ain't got no bail money. Yeah. Like, because the internet is just what it is. I have to log off the internet. I have to. I have to abstain for a while because I just feel like my head is just filling up with a bunch of foolishness. So, like I said, Thursday until Sunday, right, like 5 o'clock on my time, I'm like, no, I just try to go do other stuff because there's just too much going on the internet. People lying and all kind of stuff, and you know, I just like to be away from that. So yeah, Shaquille, what's going on? I don't know what that is. You got a bunch of letters. I don't know what they got going on. Albie Chill says they neglect black boys because they want them to become black men. They can place in their private prisons. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what they see. Black boys. That's why I tell parents, you got black sons. Them people don't see your sons as boys. They see them as men. They see them as product that they can lock up, like you said, in these prisons for labor, as they said, sweat equity, because the prison population is aging out, which means that people ain't going to prison like they used to. So they got to ramp that back up because they got to get their private investors their return on investment. 90% occupancy is what they have to guarantee to get a return on investment for their investors. That means.
And could you tell us some of the investors that have alleged stock in the private prisons?
Well, I don't know any offhand. I know people keep throwing out Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is not.
No. I won't talk about him, but it is alleged. Hillary Clinton. A lot of your political parties.
That's why I said I couldn't. That's why I said I couldn't say, because it's alleged, right? So I couldn't say for sure. I haven't seen any, sheets or anything like that. I just like to talk about what I know, but I do know that there is a private prison industrial complex, right? They say that the government, per the Biden administration, moved out of being involved in that. That's not true. They have a middleman that get money from the government, and then that middleman funnels it to, the private prison. So it's just really a restructuring of how the government is involved, but they are still involved. So I just want to say that. Shaquille,
it's the same as the GMOs. This is how they money launder through the GMOs. That's why the government, our tax dollars, go to the GMOs, and then the money disappears.
Margaret, what's going on? She says Tamala Horsford, the woman at the sleepover, the white women was from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Says she was against FBAs. How do you know she was against FBAs? And do you think they make the difference between her being from somewhere else and being Black American? I'm just asking, Margaret. I love you dearly. But I'm just asking you, do you think the white folks said, before we do this to you, are you Black American, or are you from somewhere else that's Black? See, I think that, because that gets dangerous when we do that. I don't know what Tamala Horsford's ideology was about Black Americans. If you do know, please tell me, because I make sure to tell her story at least once a year, because I think it's important for Black folks to understand that them people don't care where you're from. There was a Jamaican brother, forget his name, it'll come to me. A Jamaican brother who went off into the woods hunting with them people all by himself, and his Black American wife told him not to do that because that wasn't a good idea. But he thought, oh, I'll be all right. And then lo and behold, them 4 white people with his co-workers came out and said, oh, we were afraid for our lives. He was aiming his weapon at us. And so they treated him like target practice. All of them fired their weapons into him. So I'm just saying, we got to be careful when we do that kind of stuff because they don't care where you're from. So, and I don't know. I mean, never all the years I've
Yeah,
been covering.
that could have been a real life surviving the game situation there. That was just too suspicious.
Yeah, and all the years that I've been covering Tamala, I've never heard her say anything or heard of anything that she said about Black Americans that was disparaging. So I haven't heard. I'm not saying she didn't. Thank you, Pop. Yeah, because Shaquille was tripping. I think they was Bill, what's going on with you? Bill Bixby. He says Black people really don't care because football season upon them. Yeah, we gotta have that conversation too. I'm gonna have that conversation later on in the week. But it's gonna get real uncomfortable. But I agree with you.
Before we get out of here, I think we need to talk about something very serious. No joking aside, preseason is going on. Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. Demetra, we're going to have to keep our Sundays short. Football season's about to start, so let's get, fellas. Am I right? We want to get in and get out. Let's get the information so we can go watch our football. Right? Am I? Who's with me on that?
Boo! Ain't nobody with you, okay? Because that's the conversation we gonna have later on this week. So now ain't nobody with you, okay? You by your damn self with this one. Lex Dixon. I hope I said the right. Did not say it right. Well, how you doing? You say state prisons make a lot of money. Boy. I mean, just from the
hauling, snacks, all of that stuff.
Yeah. All of that, but you're right. And how you doing, by the way, Albert Chill? Thank you. Once again, he says, "What about Clinton and Clinton's and Ron Brown? Who's Ron Brown?
He was one of the secretaries. He died in that plane, the mysterious plane crash.
Okay, yeah. Yes. I do know now. Probably say Tampa was Jamaican or Tamala was Jamaican. Yeah, regardless of what she was, they didn't care. She was Black. And that's one thing that we as Black Americans try to get everybody else to understand that come over here. In America, you Black, okay? It ain't that I'm Jamaican, I'm Dominican, I'm this, I'm that. To these people, you Black. Ask what's his face? Obama Selly, the dude, got shanked up or whatever it was by his white girlfriend, and she about to be out of jail. He was Nigerian, and he had a whole lot of horrible things to say about Black folks. And then now his people are understanding. Yeah, the white people don't see that care that you from Nigeria. They saw him as Black, and that was a white woman. And in their eyes, they're probably like, you shouldn't have been with that white woman anyway.
And you know what's crazy, since we're talking about the prison pipeline and all that other great stuff, you see these Democrat representatives going, I had to go to the prison and see for myself. And what I saw was horrendous. They were in cages and all this other stuff. You've got American citizens that are in Folsom Prison, Pelican Bay, Rikers Island, some of the worst prisons in the nation. And these representatives won't step one foot in there to speak for American citizens and the atrocious situation that those people are in. But they're there for the immigrants. They're taking special tours to make sure the immigrants are treated humanely. When you got people sitting in Rikers Island that go there for a month and come out a totally different person, if not a totally different gender.
Fast Not Feeling says the only place I'm following my Black woman is to the kitchen, the bathroom, bedroom. When there is a thumb in the middle of the night, I'm in the lead. He says, a thump in the middle of the night is what you meant. I'm in the lead. When we have to go to war, I'm in the lead. I know that's right. That's what I'm talking about. Gloria said 100%. Says, yeah, Donovan, you Black, you included. We're not going to be watching no football, okay? Foot who? What?
We have to be cheering for the Cowboys, because as the Cowboys do well, America's team, America does well. The Cowboy is the gauge. If the Cowboys suck, we're going to have a rough year. That's just how it is, okay? That's the bottom line.
Well, brace yourselves. Brace yourselves, America. It's going to be another bumpy ride.
Wait, brace for impact.
Because what? Easy to say Parchment Prison in Mississippi is horrible. All the prisons is horrible. I've been to a few, not as an inmate, okay? I haven't been as an inmate. Hey, Rose, how you doing? But I've been to some to visit. and to, you know, help people and things like that. And I tell you, it's so heartbreaking, because I think a lot of those people that they're in there, and there's a lot of people who are in there, they didn't do anything, but the people who are in there that did something just tells me that they sit often and wonder what would be different if I didn't do A, B, C, and D, right? Because prison is not a place where anybody, I don't think, I know some people become institutionalized. That's, you know, being conditioned to be there, but just on the strength, no, nobody wants to be there. It's not a place. Like, I'm one of those people, I would not enjoy working in an office. I have worked in offices before, but if I had to work in an office, I need a window view. I couldn't work in a cubicle where I couldn't see the window, anything like that, because it would just be too confining and too depressing. So I just imagine being in a prison where you don't have a window per se, or you can open it because you know you can't open it. Letting no fresh air or any of those things. And so, yeah, it's very sad. And I just always try to tell people, hey, you know, and it's been said, think about what you're doing before you do it, because as Monique said during her comedy special, when she went and talked to the women there in the prison, I forget where it was, Tennessee or something like that. She says, we're all one bad decision away from being in here. And I never forgot that. So just keep that in mind.
If I ever get elected, I just want to say this to you single moms. I will never allow a prosecution of a sex worker. A lot of women are getting caught up in, you know, for crimes that has to do with sex work. It's not right.
You know, there's a lot of men out there hoeing their ass too, right?
And it's not right. Exactly. I think sex work should be legalized. I mean, you got the weed and the drugs basically legalized. What do you think is the next step? Come on, fellas. It's going to be $20 to make you holler.
I don't know what woman signed up for that. $20.
The market will be saturated. According to economics, the more you have in the market, the cheaper the price.
$20? Go ask your mama if she would do it for $20. And if your mama do it for $20, I do it.
Well, we're going to regulate. There's got to be a minimum wage for sex workers to put a price. There's a minimum base. We'll make it $20.
Who's quality control, sir?
Fellas, I got any volunteers?
Who decides? What if a customer says, I'm sorry, that was horrible. I want my money back. How do you know?
We're going to side with the customer. And then we got cameras so we can verify what's going on, so that we can sell that as a byproduct on OnlyFans for the ladies.
Don't mean nothing. Listen, if you bought a Vienna sausages to a hot dog eating contest, whose fault was that, sir? Let me be the judge. I will be the presiding judge over all those cases, okay? Nobody told you to bring your 2 minutes of unfun and your $2 to the snooty fox, okay? It wasn't her fault that you didn't have nothing to work with, okay? I looked at the footage and she was ooh, ah. And then when I saw when you got up, I'm like, what is that lady oohing and eyeing for? Wow, let's give her an Oscar because she's a hell of an actress. Case dismissed.
And that's fine. Like I said, I know we're kind of joking and stuff like that, but in all seriousness, isn't it hypocritical how we sit here and we talk about, oh, I got a woman selling it. It's not right. It's not morally right. If you go to Europe, most of your Western countries, prostitution is legal, it's regulated, and it is taxed. So it is very hypocritical that here we are in the United States, and ladies, you guys know this. You guys got friends that are selling it. We know what's going on. So why not make it safe? Make it legal and just put it out there. There are women and men out there selling sex, and you guys know they're doing it. So let's not be hypocritical about it.
Listen, we got too much debauchery going on. We don't need that, okay? That is the oldest.
Yes, and in Houston, where you're at, it is out of control.
I wouldn't know nothing about that, okay? I go to the gym, to the store, and I come home, okay? I don't be out there on Bissonnette. I have been by Bissonnette before, and I was like, wow, those ladies are dressed interestingly. I'm going to continue on about my way, okay? I'm going to mind my business.
Yeah, and we're not saying every woman does it, but what I'm saying is we know it's going on right here in San Bernardino, or where I'm Inland Empire. You got two tracks. Everybody knows what's the track on in LA everybody goes to?
Which track?
The track in LA, the one everybody goes to in LA.
I don't know nothing about that, sir.
Well, there's a track in LA. It's going on, and in California, I can't speak for other states. They've decriminalized the seller. They're still getting the Johns, but they've decriminalized the seller. So it's only a matter of time. Like I said, we really got to be adults about this, and yeah, the blade, and just be real, because people think about this, you guys. I'm just going to go on a tangent real quick. Think about this. You will be arrested for exchanging money for sex behind closed doors. But yet, if you do it on camera and sell it, it's perfectly legal. What the hell is going on here?
I mean,
we just got to do something. I'm just saying, a lot of Figueroa. That was it. Figueroa. And that was a woman that said that. Figueroa, Courtney Marie's mom said that. But what I'm saying is, it's very hypocritical that we don't make it safe. And sex work is work. That's all I'm saying. If you go in any other country, it's there. It's what it is. And unfortunately, a lot of women are right now in positions where they can't make their car payments, they can't do this, they can't do that, and they're being arrested unfairly because they got to do what they got to do. I'm just saying, and I see it here and around the nation when I'm on YouTube and you see these sting operations and they're arresting the girls who are just trying to survive. I think that's wrong, but yet we've got drugs that have been approved, we've got this that's been approved, but two consenting adults cannot exchange money. Demetra, I offer your sister thousands of dollars, thousands. And she has a choice, either take it or don't. She doesn't want to take it. But why should we be arrested for a transaction between two adults? If she was my girlfriend, what's the difference?
Well, first of all, my sister says she's not into Vienna sausages. And I can't believe that I just heard a whole infomercial about making the blade legal. Like, what?
Yes. And Mad Dog Jack says it is not legal in Vegas. It's legal in the other county.
In the outskirts.
Yeah, the outskirts. Yeah. So it's not legal in Vegas. A lot of people think that, but it's not.
I don't agree that we should make that legal. What I would think one would do is get you a wife or a husband to sit down somewhere. Why are we advocating more for the blade than we are for intact family? What could be more optimal, right? Than to have somebody in the bed with you, okay? Y'all both just act right. Act right. Get you somewhere and sit down. Sit down, okay? And that way you ain't got to be doing no infomercial about why we need to have the blade and people. Get you a woman, get you a man. Y'all sit down, okay? And then y'all do what you do in your bedroom. Now, and you film it, just keep it between you. We don't want to see that, okay? Whatever you need to do in your bedroom with your husband and your wife, that's what you do. But man, that's kind of risky. That's why I said get together and sit down, okay? Don't be out there trying to creep and all this because it's risky. Right? Somebody might take your life, they might take your wallet, they might give you something you can't get rid of. You might be scratching little homies, all of that because you.
That's why you should regulate it.
No, okay, because we listen. I ain't into the movies, the adult movies like that, but I have seen that even though they regulating and all this, some people have to heal up in there. That didn't stop the heel from running through these sets. So what I'm saying is, and we all know this as adults, that the only thing that's, 100% is abstinence, okay? Or you get with a husband or a wife and y'all stop running around the block, okay? You sit down together. That's what's foolproof. So that's what we should be advocating for, because what we're going to do is, and Donovan, I hear what you're saying. I've heard that argument before. We should make it legal. So then what we do is we raise generations behind us to be degenerates, okay? Don't settle down. You don't need to settle down with a woman, which is supposed to be settling down to a good choice. You go out there and spend your hard-earned money and potentially get something you can't get rid of because you don't have the coping skills to learn how to get along with another human being and make that person your wife or your husband.
Yeah, but see, you just hit on something right there. What do we tell our daughters as they're growing up now? We're already there. What you're saying is, we're matter of fact, we're past that. What do we tell your daughters? Oh, you ain't got to get married. You don't need no man, girl. Get your education. We're telling these girls that right now.
I don't know who this we is, okay? Now, there's some people telling their daughters that, and God bless their little bitty hearts, okay? I don't tell my daughter that. What I do tell my daughter, have told my daughter, is, for one, don't bring me no grandbabies unless you bring it home a son-in-law, okay? That is because I was an unwed mother. My mama wasn't an unwed mother, so I didn't learn that from her. So I was very active in telling her, no, we need a son-in-law first, okay? Now, I know there's this thing, these women getting old. Nah, because I also taught my daughter, you ain't gonna settle down with any doggone thing, okay? He need to be about his weight. He need to be about something. He got to know how to do something. I ain't saying he got to be rich. That'd be nice, but he, have something going on. Be industrious, like I said, and I'm not talking about all men. I'm saying some of these men, wow. It's like you want our daughters to settle down with that. He can't even turn the damn screwdriver. Okay, he don't know if it's a flathead or Phillips, but I'm supposed to tell my daughter to go run down the aisle with that, right? So some women are telling their daughters that, but that's not all women. I would say most women, just like most men, are telling their sons to settle down with you, a good woman, like I did with your mama, like your grandmama did with granddaddy. Okay, that's what we should be telling them. We shouldn't be going. See, that's why it just keeps coming to me. The road to salvation is slim, right? Narrow. The road to salvation is narrow, right? Because there's only a few people on there trying to do right. The road to hell is wide open, and it gets wider and wider because we have people saying, well, you got some people doing it. We all might as well be doing it. Let's all jump on the road to hell. It's like, no, we should be talking about the road to salvation, wherever that is, okay? And that's advocating for an intact family and with morals. Because I would not, in that society where we're making this legal all over the place, I wouldn't want my daughter saying, well, hell, I'm going to go and do field goal posts up in the air so I could pay the rent. Nah, that's degeneracy. We really got to hold tight to some morals. And our community, my daddy used to say this all the time. He says, back in the day, the stuff you see black women doing now, it was unheard of. Not that she never did it. You just didn't hear her doing it. But now everything is just so in the open and everybody advocates for the foolishness and the degeneracy. We got to stop that. There's no way we should concede morals to, well, everybody it's how women gonna make money, right? Because then when you hear these, as the Mac said, one of my favorite movies, Don't Judge Me, one of these sadistic fools from the Ubbers break an arm or something, then what? What's going to happen then? She was told to go out there and make a buck so she could pay rent by laying on her back. Nah, tell her to settle down with a man that's going to be able to take care of her. Tell these men to settle down to a good choice and period at the end.
Right. So let me ask you this. So do you think it is correct that a police officer should arrest a woman for doing sex work?
Yeah, if it's against the law, just like men who they call Johns get arrested for entertaining that lady. It's a crime.
No, I get it, but it's a non-violent crime. Doesn't hurt anybody. Just like you said about weed, it don't hurt nobody. Whatever. It's the same exact thing. Now, what I'm saying is, this is just me personally, I do not think we need to be arresting women that engage in that activity because it's not hurting anybody, whatever. Now, if you still want to go after the Johns, do that. But I don't think a single mother, if that's her situation, should be arrested for, I just don't think it's right, because I don't know if she's got kids at home, whatever the deal is, what her situation is. It is a non-violent crime. I don't think a woman, that's just my personal opinion. I know you might not agree with it. I just think that's ridiculous to arrest somebody because as an adult, she made a decision to exchange a transaction for money. I just don't think that's.
Yeah, I mean, well, I can't tell nobody else what to do, but there's times I had $10 in my pocket. I never once thought about putting my behind on a boulevard and selling it for nothing to nobody. That's never cross my mind. You know what I did? I went and I scrubbed toilets until I got it together. I worked at Amazon for a month and a half until I rearranged my understanding, but I never once thought about standing on nobody's boulevard. And if I had to collect cans, then I was going to do that. See, because I was raised differently. I wasn't raised with the mindset that you're going to get some man to give you something and let him have 2 minutes of fun all up and through your body. Because see, as people don't understand, women, we receive all of that. And I'm trying to be clean, but we receive all of that. So I'm not telling you what to do, but I would never advocate for a woman to go out there and sell her body. What I would do is advocate for her to rearrange her understanding, get herself right, so that way she can recognize a good man when she see him, and then they can get together and they can build something. But advocating that a woman should be all right to go out there and sell her body to pay the rent, I don't know what kind of society that is. They used to call that Babylon, but they did say that America is Babylon, so maybe you own or something.
Yeah, like I said, we're already there. They're already doing it. I just figure what I'm saying is they're already doing it. OnlyFans, whatever you want to say. They're already doing it to criminalize women for whatever their situation is for sex work. To me, it's just ridiculous. It's a waste of the taxpayer money. It's a waste of law enforcement time. They could be doing other things other than that. That's my thing with that. So,
yeah. See, when I think about a woman selling her body, I not that I think about Madam C.J. Walker. That's why I'm pointing back here. Madam C.J. Walker, she's hell. Again, she was the daughter of slaves. Right? I don't know if she sold her body, if that ever came to her mind, but she said, I'd rather sell some soap before I sell some, some behind. Okay. I sell some lotion, some hair grease, and I sell the dream to my people so they could do the same, so that they ain't got to be running away from massa or whoever else want to offer them a rusty nickel to let them trampoline them. Right. So if Madam C.J. Walker can do it, we can do it. Black folks are the most industrious people on the planet, and selling tail should be the last thing to come across our mind. Now, I know that there's some women that do it, right? But I know some women who have done it. And Donovan, and I do. And I know women who too, and they don't have a good story to tell. There's no happy ending with that. They ain't say, I got a retirement. Oh boy, I'm getting Social Security, and it was a great life. A lot of those women are still doing it because they didn't plan for the future. They take the path of least resistance. That's what my daddy used to call it, the path of least resistance. I'm gonna lay on my back, and let this dude do whatever he want to do to me for a light bill. Shit, I'd be in the dark.
I hear you. Like I said, it's a debatable situation, but it does go on. For those of us that are here from America, if you go overseas, that sex work is not vilified or hypocritical over there. They actually have areas where you can go, red light district, and do your thing, and it's taxed and everything like that. Me personally, I just do not think a struggling mother, for the father's not there for whatever reason, she's not, whatever her situation is, I do not think a woman should be arrested where it's on her record, and let's say she changes her life around and she can't get those jobs because she's been arrested for prostitution. It's on her record. Maybe if you arrest her and let her go or something like that, but I don't think that it should be adjudicated in a court of law. Get her out of there, slap her on the wrist, let her go. But there's a lot of women that once they get that thing, they can't get out of that. So it kind of works against them. I just don't believe you should arrest somebody for sex work. That's just me.
James, how you doing? So we having orange chicken tonight. Says I ain't paying for no box. I stay alone. I know that's right. Like, cause what? My thing is to you paying for box, and how many people have been up in that box before you paid for it?
Oh, you guys want to hear something crazy? I know we got to go, but I think this is important. I want to show you what democratic policy does to a society. If you didn't agree with me with all that, that's great. Do you know what the Democrats in the assembly here in California are proposing? They are proposing buying boxing or spaces so that the homeless can go and have sex with each other to get whatever the stresses they're out. This is a bill that is going through the California Assembly as we speak. This is the craziness that is going on with the left. This is the craziness. They figure homeless people need a place, because it is criminalized to have sex in public, right? To give them a space where they can go have sex with each other, and people don't have to see that. This is what the type of stuff we're talking about.
Well, I haven't heard that, but my goodness. So anyway,
Yeah, Prince Paraphernalia says, if they're both homeless, where are they having sex on park benches? In the park. Yes, that's right. In the open. That's what they're doing.
Can I say something? This is, and I don't mean to sound indignant or, incompassionate. If I'm homeless, the last thing I'm gonna be doing is worrying about getting my kicks. Okay. I got other issues, right? I need to figure out how I'm gonna wash my behind all day long or every day and not be laying down on somebody park bench. This is I'm be like, sucker, if you don't get away from me, okay, I'm on the grind. Okay, not that grind. You're not gonna be grinding on me. I'm on the grind. Okay. Last thing I be need to worry about is that. Okay. I'm trying to get off the streets. I'm trying to get a place to stay. I'm trying to get food on the table. I'm trying to do all those things and being trampoline is not one of them, sir. Okay. That is a stupid law. I didn't hear about that. I didn't know that's a stupid law, but I think
no, it's not a law. They're proposing that through the assembly. This is what they're trying to push through.
I think it's insulting because it deduces homeless people down to just the carnal desires. Most people out there who are homeless and not because they want to be. And the last thing I would imagine they want to do is be humping in a hump place where they can just hump freely, which like what? Give them a place to stay of their own. And then if they want to hump in there, they can do that. But that's crazy. Anyway, I love y'all. We got to get out of here. I didn't realize how much overtime we are, but we'll be back here tomorrow. So in the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Peace.